Hey guys, and welcome to another edition of Nom Talk Live, where it's basically like having dinner with my friends, but we're talking about serious stuff, but it relates to food, so it's okay. I am Stephanie, and I am super excited. And I know if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know how excited I am. I'm very excited for tonight because I have my friends, and they are like, if there's anything wrong with my body or with food or just with feels, I reached out to these two because they are queens. So I would like to present Rayko and Alina. Hello, guys.
Nice to meet you guys. Hi.
Yay. So
Hey. I
let's
mean,
do this. Let's do this little intro thing. So Alina, who I believe is here, she's a holistic nutritionist. She is the founder of Wellness Con and Aura Line Shop. Did I pronounce that correctly? Aura
Yes,
Line?
Coraline.
Yes! Awesome. She's most popularly known as Alina Alive on YouTube, and she has also been a guest speaker at her alma mater for a TED, like almost a TED Talk, like a TEDx conference thing.
Yes,
oh,
TedX.
that's
Yeah. Oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh. I'm gonna ask about that. So give me a second. And then
Okay.
we also have Miss Rayko, who is a singer, songwriter, composer, fitness and nutrition coach. You may know her as a lead for Lolita Dark or Dig Jelly. Maybe you've heard some of her compositions in The Man in the High Castle on Amazon Prime. If you haven't, check it out. But she is also currently a vocalist in the house band for the Eric Andre show. Season 5, I think, is right
What?
now.
Oh
And
my God.
yeah.
and she is a
Sorry.
strong animal welfare, planet health advocate. Super awesome. So as you just based off of bios alone, we're gonna have a good time. This is gonna be
Yeah.
amazing. So tonight the theme is wellness. So we're gonna try to hit up everything and anything that we can. But real quick, what are you eating? Reiko, what are you eating today?
I am eating a wild caught cod meuniere, garnished with organic dill, organic rosemaries on the bed of organic brown. Did I say organic? Organic brown pasta and marinated in lightly sauteed organic cultured vegan butter by Miyoko's butter. I don't know if you guys heard of Miyoko's. I'm, Steph and I know you're like all into supporting small businesses. I am too. So anytime I buy ingredients, I try to buy everything from small business, small farms, family farms, and stuff like that. And lots of garlic, and you know that's what I have. And also, because of my GI, to protect my GI, I am eating it with my mom. Is so sweet. She made me this cabbage marinade. That's what we call. I don't know how to pronounce that in French, but for my digestive system. So I'm eating all that today.
What?
That's so sweet.
Yes, that's amazing. Yay,
That's
thank you,
really nice
Mama.
of your mom, too.
So,
Yeah.
Yes. And Alina, so we've already discussed you did already eat, but that's okay.
Yes.
You know what? When you're hungry, you're hungry. I totally understand. But talk a little bit about what you had earlier today.
Yeah, so I had chicken tortilla soup, and I was like feeling hungry earlier, and I feel like my meals are a lot more boring, I guess. But I've been trying to keep it simple. I was talking to the ladies earlier in the evening about how I'm kind of recovering from being sick, so I'm just keeping it simple. But right now, I also have some oatmeal, so that's basically it.
that's amazing. Well, it's good that you're getting your fiber, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And today I am eating something that is more in my realm of deliciousness, and it's a poke bowl.
Ooh.
So this
nice.
the poke bowl has white rice, spicy tuna, tofu, seaweed salad, edamame, green onion, cucumber, jalapeno, carrots, cilantro. Basically everything that you kind of want. And we don't get very much, like we don't get a lot of produce in our household, so whenever I can get produce, it's awesome. And the only reason why is because they go bad so quickly. That is my only
Real talk.
defense against that. Like It is so hard, but you know, every once in a while, I like getting a salad, and I like rice more than salad.
I love rice. Oh my goodness. Yeah, man, do it however you want to do it. I sometimes I just don't feel like having salads, and I know I need my greens, so I'll cook it into something if I can. There's so many ways to do it. So, you know.
Absolutely. But
And
let's. Oh, go ahead.
Alina, you're on TEDx. I am just so honored to be with you today. I'm
Oh,
just love TED Talk, TEDx. Oh my gosh. If you get on that, that means you're legit.
oh, thank you. I appreciate that. We need
Oh
to
my
talk
god.
about all the things that you're up to too. Stephanie is so great at bringing people together, so I'm so excited for
Yes.
our
Yes.
conversation.
I'm so excited. Thank you.
Shucks, guys. I'm just so happy to be around people like you. So every time I find awesome people, I'm like, hey, people, meet this people and be friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
But let's get down. Alina, so you're a holistic nutritionist. What exactly does that entail? And I'm sorry if you get this question a bajillion times.
No, it's totally fine. I love the opportunity to try to explain it to people who might not be familiar with it. I like to try to always make that distinction that I'm a holistic nutritionist because I think that, or I believe that in our life, so many aspects of our lifestyle are interdependent on one another. So a good example of this is proper digestion. It's absolutely, yes, you got to eat all the right things, but if you're not moving, or maybe like not moving your body or maybe not walking as much, that can also impact your digestion and your circulation. So looking at how things are interconnected is very important. And I think it's also an important distinction to also move away from toxic diet culture, because I think that a lot of people, when they think of going on a diet or eating healthier, they associate the change in their diet with losing weight, and that's associated with negative body image, and it can kind of go in a spiral that I think a lot of people, especially us in the US, we're bombarded with advertisements and we're all dealing with it, right? So bringing in that holistic aspect for me reminds people, hey, when you're eating foods that your body likes, that your body responds to well, it actually gives you more energy. That energy is going to help with your mood. Your mood and your mental health is going to help with you wanting to move and get outside. And so all of these things can be interconnected, and it doesn't need to be an isolated sort of objective. And all of the other things, even weight loss, can come along the way, but it doesn't need to be one objective or another. So I hope that kind of explains it. Yeah.
No, yeah,
Completely, yeah.
absolutely. No, absolutely.
I agree.
and
Cool.
and Rayko, you're not only a nutritionist, but you're also a fitness coach. So how, how, that's I mean, it as Alina's already mentioned, you know, with holistic, you kind of obviously you understand that it's not just about food, it's what you do with your daily life.
I
And so
completely agree with what you said. Yeah.
yeah.
And add to that, I mean, there's pros and cons, like pros and cons, like she was saying. My, I used to do this. That used to be my bread and butter, my day job before I became a professional composer. My clients were really focused on calorie counting, and that is the number one common mistakes people make. Like she was saying, that the balanced diet is so important. A lot of people are afraid of fat. We need fat to burn fat. And, people say, oh my gosh, you look at this like fat number and they get scared away. Oh my gosh, 19 grams of fat. I cannot eat this. Well, what kind of a fat is it? Is it from avocado? Is it from walnuts? Or is it from saturated fat, like, trans fat or bad fat? And so I will always tell my clients, you cannot just focus on calories. You have to look at the ingredients. If there's like more than 5 ingredients, make sure you look at the chemicals or whatever the preservatives that's listed on the ingredients list. And, you want to avoid all those like, sulfite and all those like sodium nitrates and stuff like that. And just like Alina was saying, if you eat just like, okay, so for instance, tomato. It's a lot of people are now worried about tomato because it's high in lectin. Some people are okay with that. Some people has to boil the tomato and peel the skin off and take the seeds out, so you have no lectin, because some people can have leaky gut with tomato. The lectin, it's on tomato, potatoes, uh, what have you. So just like she was saying, if it agrees with you, it's okay. It's just that don't make the mistake on just fixated on calories, and also the reason why the cookie cutter diet doesn't work is because everybody's got the different schedules. Everybody's got it's kind of like my motto is eat for fuel. Whatever your schedule of the day, if you're doing a lot of like gardening or running around, your bartenders, and you want to carb up with complex carb, not the simple. Well, simple carb is okay after you work out, because that uh, uh, makes the body to absorb more protein after you work out, extensive workout. But it's always what your activity level and what you do throughout the day, and you eat. What you eat is not only essential, it's what you eat when you eat, to make sure that you're balanced.
Mm. Wow. I'm glad that we're having this talk right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you mentioned before, you have a lot of clients who focus who micromanage their calorie intake, or they get scared about fats. And so obviously there's always going to be a diet trend. Like there's keto, there's Atkins, there's no fat, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
And then there are people that also transition over to like trying to be a vegetarian or trying to be a vegan, trying to better like what they take in. So what are some pros and cons to things like that? Like if somebody wants to dive into a very specific diet. Anybody who
Well,
wants to start?
you sure?
Oh yeah, absolutely. What are you?
Well, I mean, like I said, it's basically, as I mentioned before, you need to, I would do a palm size of clean protein in each meal, complex carbs such as broccoli, brown rice, sweet potatoes. Oh my gosh, the best carbohydrate, right, Alina?
Yes, love them, especially for women. So good. Yeah.
Amazing. And good fat, like I said, walnuts, avocados, raw almonds. You want to make sure you soak the almonds in water overnight, because almond skin has a lot of tannins on it. So if you want to absorb all the nutrients from almonds, you want to make sure you soak it overnight. You can even peel the skin off. That's a really, really good idea. And of course, 4 servings of leafy vegetables per day. I mean, I can go on forever, but I know this is an hour show, so I'll give it to
Right.
Alina.
No, I completely agree with everything you said, and it's in exactly what you started out with as well. It's everyone's different, so you got to, really pay attention to how your body responds to things. There's going to be a lot of people on social media that are like, I went on the keto diet and it changed my life, and my life is better now, and all this stuff. I run faster, jump higher, and then you might try it, and your body might not, respond to it as well, and that's okay. I think that that's what's really important. Yes, there's fad diets out there, and for some people, it legitimately helps them.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to be patient with yourself and to pay attention to how your body responds to it. But yeah, and then also, for example, there are certain diets, for example, that are all fat free, or even there's veganism that's completely for moral reasons, and it doesn't even matter about the nutritional aspect. It's for moral reasons, and that distinction is very important, and I respect that. And then there's also veganism for health reasons, and some people need to also look at that. And actually, I think veganism is a great example for most of these diets, in that depending on the diet, most of them can be done. But veganism is a good example of the fact that most people can be vegan, but they just need to be a little bit more conscious of their nutrient sources. Because, and this can be applied to, let's say, the keto diet as well. So say you're reducing your intake of certain carbohydrates, even vegetables in the keto diet. You need to look at, where am I going to get those nutrients if not from these carbohydrates? So yeah, totally go keto, but basically become more aware of how you're going to get that full spectrum of nutrients. Um,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I hope that that makes sense. So I think that it's totally fine to try out a diet, but I think two things when you're looking at a brand new diet fad: one, research it. Try to find articles written by doctors or dietitians, or accredited, nutritionists who give their take on it at the very least. That way you can see other people's takes, because it is kind of easy to find biases, online. And so that's a good one thing to do. The other thing to do is just pay attention to your body and recognize that everyone's body's different, and that's okay.
Exactly. I recently came across with a book written by Chris Carr. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her, but when she was 31, she's an actress. She found out that she had like dozens of tumor in her lungs and in her liver. She just doctors say, "Hey, there is nothing I can do about it," and she just went completely um, just vegan, right? And her book is so well written and so fun to read. So if you guys want to like check into that, it's a really, really good like kind of guidelines on people who want to go into the veganism. But I completely agree with Alina. Once again, this is why, Stephanie, you're right. We're going to be great friends. My sister was vegan for 24-ish years. She dove into veganism from the animal rights, the ethical treatment of animal reason. But then after about 20 years, she started having the digestive issue. It is really the awareness. You really want to know what goes in your body, how it reacts with you. And also with the vegan, I would take, because I'm semi vegan, the only meat that I eat is fish, or most really like occasionally step 4 chicken. Step 4 is a gap rating for animal welfare. The chicken is raised, pasture raised, and goes through the caste system, so it doesn't. It's the more ethical way to process uh, live living thing. I mean, there is no ethical way to kill any living things, but it's just more humane way to process livestock, they call. But anyway, I take branch chain amino acids because it's really hard to maintain when you're vegan or vegetarian. It's amino acid. It's really, really it's essential for human body. So I take that. And if anybody wants to know the cleanest branch chain amino acid, I can recommend one. You can post it on the link or something on your YouTube or Twitch later.
Cool.
Yes, absolutely. We'll definitely put that in the links and in the description so that people can look to it when when they get to that point. Like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, good. Cool. I know I did keto for a while, and that was interesting because not only did I have to let go of calorie intake obsessions,
Mhm.
I I did a lot of homework, so it ended up being 1 month of homework. Alex and I ended up being like the go-to for people who wanted to start on keto, and we were like, "Wait, you should go to your doctor." But because we have friends who suffered from kidney issues after being very
Mhm.
committed to keto. And so like
Oh,
it's something that I would consider to do again, but I would have to very much give myself a couple like cheat days of being able to also reach out to grains and, things that are not keto friendly. Cuz that's a
Yeah,
lot of
because
fat that we're eating.
it's so
yeah,
hard to digest large amount of protein. I mean, human bodies are not meant to digest so much protein at once.
right.
Exactly. And I
And
Yeah.
know, especially with different blood types and
Yeah.
genetic backgrounds,
Yeah.
like my white family. I'm half white. So it's like my dad's side. Okay, we'll just go that. My dad's side, there is a huge line of them that have celiac disease or can't handle dairy or gluten. So it's, like obviously like my dad can have gluten but they can't, so every person's going to be different. And so
Uh,
like when somebody's curious about taking on that, I'm going to call it a responsibility, taking on that responsibility of trying to like diet or eat nutrition, like eat healthy, what is the first rule that you give to people who are asking for advice?
Mm.
Alina, a mouthful.
Okay. So the first piece of advice is for somebody who's seeking information. Well, the first thing that I always try to ask them is if they're ready to take, like you said, to take on the responsibility, and if they're ready to kind of commit, because that's definitely the first part. And I think that I guess we can kind of get that out of the way because they're already asking, which means that they're ready to do it. But because sometimes you can work with people who are wishy washy, who are like, oh, I kind of want to do this, and it's just like, okay, you got to decide. But but that's okay. It's a journey that you need to come to really decide. Like, I kind of want to change things and do that. But anyway, so that's one thing. The other thing I would do outside of, usually with my clients, what I do is I take in as much information as I can about their health state, their status. So I want to learn about like the background of health conditions. I want to learn about their current lifestyle. I usually send them actually a food and mood journal to learn about what their normal eating habits are. And then after that, I kind of customize what I want my nutritional protocols to be. And I think that that's an important sort of like point to make, that I think that's another reason why there's certain diet fads that we associate, especially in our generation. Like before, like you said, it was Atkins and all these things. And the new generation is paleo, keto, and vegan kind of. And so basically when you work with somebody, or if even if you don't work with somebody, what you personally can do is try to customize it as much as possible to how you're like, to what you already know that you enjoy to eat, and try to find replacements or things that can be swapped out. That helps
Yeah.
long term. And just trying to customize it as much as possible, because that's what I do with my clients. I never really put my client on like a clear all keto or all paleo, even though sometimes it might call for that. I try to customize it, and that's what's helpful. And like you mentioned before, with keto, there's sometimes kidney issues can come into play because yes, keto, focusing on the proteins and the fats can be so beneficial to your body. But too much of anything, you got to have some balance there. The body is very dependent on fiber to help with supporting our drainage systems, that being the kidney, the liver. And so, anyway, all that to say, you can kind of customize things a little bit more instead of kind of like finding the general sort of outlines, I guess, that are online for certain places. And
Mhm.
again, it works for some people, so that's really good. But that's kind of where I start. I try to really consider people's unique backgrounds, I guess.
Yeah, I cannot agree more.
Mm.
Customize individual meal plans for everybody's life that fits everybody's lifestyle, and just like you said, likes and dislikes. I got trained very hard by my clients who are Hollywood executives and their wives, and their demands are insane. Um, they tell me things that are like, what? I don't have a magic wand. Tomorrow, you want to look this way and feel this way. Well, let me try my best. So it is so true. The mixing a variety of different diet. It's not even a diet, but it's like different meal plans to just accommodate everybody's lifestyle. It's just so tasking, but it's really important because not everybody's body reacts the same way. Just like my body, Steph and I go way back. She knew when I was just running around and trying to find the time to sleep. It's not that much better now, but um, I would use, and Alina, I'm sure you get a kick out of this. I would just, Ninja, the shaker.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I will get a 32 ounce a bottle, and I would just shove greens, berries, fats, all kinds of things, and top it off with protein, right? Like vegan protein. I love Vega Sport plant-based
Mhm.
wheat protein. I love it. It's clean. I love it. But I did not know until recently that my stomach does not like fruits and protein together at all.
Oh, food combining, yeah.
Doesn't agree. So my body does creates a toxic gas, the methane and all that bad stuff. And I was having my Christmas day was ruined because of it.
Mhm.
Glad that I found out or figured out what it was that was bothering me. So that is a great example. I mean, some people can have fruit and protein together fine, but my digestive system is the typical one that when you mix fructose and protein, um, the fructose doesn't get absorbed into the bloodstream, and it goes to the bowel, into the bowel. And I'm sorry to be gross, we're eating, but the bad bacteria start eating it up and
Yeah, it
creates
can ferment.
yes, very highly inflammatory. So yeah, uh, it's really who you're working with and who you're talking to, and your diet has to be just really individual. So yeah.
I completely agree. And to add to your point, for anybody who doesn't like know about like food combining, generally speaking, depending on what you eat, your body releases specific types of stomach acids to break it down. So if your body is like, "Oh, cool, I'm having protein, let me release these specific acids or these specific gastric juices," it can, but you are also having fruit in there as well. For some people, it can, yeah, like she said, it doesn't break down either. It either properly doesn't break down the protein or it doesn't properly break down the carbohydrates. But as a result, some of those foods can sit in your digestive tract in the small intestine for an extended period of time and even ferment and go bad before it comes out because it isn't properly processed. And again, everyone's different. Some people can have smoothies and you can throw a steak in there and they're fine. Some people are more sensitive. But again, it's just about paying attention to the subtle messages that our body is telling us. And that's like yeah, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, it's just in our culture nowadays. And that's the thing too. If you experience this, don't be hard on yourself. Don't be like, oh my gosh, like I was doing this one diet and my stomach was kind of messed up. I ignored it. I literally have done that my entire life. I still do that sometimes and I have to catch myself. And a large reason for that is because we're in a society, kind of like culturally in this modern era, where we're constantly telling our body what to do. We're drinking the coffee and we're saying, you're going to be up right now. I don't care if you got 3 hours of sleep, you're going to be up right now. When we eat, we're like, you're going to eat this amount of food because I want you to. I know that you're full, or I know that this, but so just kind of a big message that I think is important is to listen to the subtleties of how your body responds to foods and just be in the question of it. That doesn't necessarily mean being obsessed, like writing things down, but just asking yourself and being gentle with yourself. Everything that we're talking about right now, like it's so understand. Like I remember when I learned it, I was like, what the heck? Because it's not, the information isn't readily available like it should be in schools. We have to a lot of times learn this along the way, or unless we're
Yes.
studying it. So, but the other last thing I wanted to say, I completely forgot, was that something else that I do is I look at the foundational aspects of somebody's health before even getting into the more specific. So, for example, you might go to a doctor in the US and they'll automatically give you like hardcore pills to like, to basically tackle the symptoms of your health issue, but they don't really get to the root of it sometimes. And that's no knock to doctors. I respect doctors and I respect our medical system. I'm very grateful for it. But I think that a small piece that is missing from that is looking at your foundational lifestyle habits. So, for example, if I have somebody coming in who I I'm trying to think of something better than this, but constipation, it's something that everybody experiences. Nobody talks about it, but it's a real thing. For example, laxative that's like, and we're kind of trained to look for these super special supplements that can like magically fix you. And sometimes those are very good. There are a lot of really good, supplements out there. But if you look at it foundationally, the trifecta, kind of the three main things of proper digestion are movement, hydration, and fiber. And those are three important sort of foundational aspects. So I kind of look at the most basic things like, and sometimes, unfortunately, going back to how we're brought up, especially in the States, they don't really talk about a lot of times like those foundations, like, hey, what's good fiber versus bad fiber? What's good fats versus bad fats? What's clean protein versus this? These are very basic things that, like, they're basic, but they're not taught to us. So I take a lot of time to try to like let people know those things. And usually for the first few weeks, that's what we're focusing on, just the basics before we dive deeper into like, let me put you on this special diet or let me give you these special pills or stuff like that.
Yeah, so true. I never knew that not everybody knew about the clean protein, clean fat, and complex and simple carbs differences. as a people with like us with nutritional background, we think, oh, it's common sense, but it's not common sense in mass population. So we really need to like teach people from the ground.
Sorry, can you do
Oh,
that
yeah.
again? My internet took a poop
Oh,
because it's
no.
raining. Like, I don't know. It's
Oh,
raining.
really?
Oh man.
And so we're not live right now.
Oh, we are. We are live.
Mm.
There was a flood warning,
Oh
and
yeah,
we
yeah.
have a sunroof that doesn't work and is kind of just covered by a trash can, and it's currently
Oh,
leaking a little bit. So
Oh,
if you see movement, that's Alex taking care of the house.
oh,
oh,
tell
okay.
Alex I said hi.
Hey,
Yes,
say hi.
please. Yeah. Great job. What a team. But
Yeah, we're
yeah,
still live. Let's see. There's Fuel 198, and he said, I challenge Rayko to wear someone's reading glasses for a donation. Has to be reading glasses? I don't think that's safe for Rayko to do, sir. So,
I have
we'll...
reading glasses.
Oh my gosh.
Ta-da!
Hi.
Glasses.
Oh, those are nice.
They're really cute. And I'm kind of bummed. I have glasses too, but I those, I don't know where they are.
Because this is a gamma lens thing for the computer. Oh my gosh, thank you for kind of like suggesting me to do it because I want to protect my eyes. So I would just wear this throughout the rest of the Nom Talk.
Yay. All right. So moving forward, and you've mentioned, you guys have mentioned this so many times already, and so we're gonna try to like ingrain it into people. When it comes to the food pyramid, we're gonna go right back because Alina, you said it takes days sometimes to just learn the basics. When it comes to the basic food pyramid, is the food pyramid that we've learned and understood in the United States, is it similar to like is it accurate? That's a good question. Is it accurate? Because I understand there are certain things like the BMI is not exactly accurate. So like
Yeah.
things like the food pyramid would do you feel like it's kind of different now that, you know, there are more like preservatives and additives in ingredients? Hold on. Are we good?
Oh, okay, I can hear you again.
Okay,
Okay, I
cool.
see you.
Sorry. So yes, with the food pyramid, knowing that there have been a lot of more additives into ingredients, do you feel like we should change the concept of what we know as the food pyramid?
So the food pyramid comes from the American Dietary Association's kind of generalized recommendations, right? And for, like you said, the food pyramid has been around for a while. If I remember correctly, I remember like the foundation was like bread, and then at the top was, you know, the greens and protein. But actually, I believe as of 2016 or 2017, they changed it to something called MyPlate to make it, I think, a little bit more understandable for people. And where it's basically, instead of a pyramid, it's a plate, and they show you portion sizes. So just like you had mentioned before about how you should have like a palm size amount of protein, it's a lot more focused on the portion sizes of each food group rather than kind of like which one is more important than another, which I really like. So I definitely would say like throw the pyramid out of your mind, because even the American Dietary Association has updated it because they were like, this is not super accurate anymore. But in relation to that, it's definitely important to focus on portions. And also, the other thing, it's kind of nuanced, I guess, but so there's protein, carbohydrates, fats. Those are the main three that you want to focus on. And then when you think of carbohydrates, there's variations of that. So there's like the breads and grains, and then there's vegetables and fruit, right? And so this was also updated in the American Dietary Association, but this is also something that I would recommend, which is to focus more on the fruits and vegetables more than the grains. And I say that because over the years, due to I'm trying so hard not to like convolute it. I want to make it kind of straightforward and just like easy for people to digest, pun intended. But you know, for two main reasons, like you said, things are a little bit different. One of them is we have genetically modified organisms, GMO foods. So that's grains, any type of food that you can think of. They've kind of changed up their genetics just a little bit, specifically to help them be more shelf stable, to have them live on the shelf longer. They've added more preservatives, like you said, pesticides, certain things that when we eat them, they can impact our digestion in a different way than our ancestors never had to deal with. So, for example, your ancestors could have been eating grains, rice, all these different things. Like my mom on my Cuban side, and my father also, who's Panamanian, both Caribbean, they would have rice all the time. That's like a staple, along with black beans and all these things. But sometimes I eat it and I'm a little sensitive to it. And it's not because of the rice itself, but because of some of the pesticides or because it's been altered a little bit. And so it's just important to, when you hear people say, oh, I'm gluten intolerant or I'm sensitive to this, it's important to be sensitive to those people and empathetic, because we're not dealing with the same food that even our parents grew up on. So when you hear somebody saying that they're sensitive to something, it's not like them being high maintenance. It's actually a lot of people, if not a majority of people, have at least one sensitivity. And sometimes they don't even realize it and they go for a long time. I'm kind of going on a rant, but I hope
It's
that makes
okay. I was like, thank you for saying that, because it's hard. It's really hard, especially with people that have sensitivities to like gluten and dairy. Like, oh, you're just being picky. Like, no, straight up, that really hurts. Can we
Right.
not?
And
absolutely.
like this one that I'm eating, the brown rice pasta, that is completely organic, non-GMO, gluten-free. I can send you the links for the small business that makes that pasta too. It's really delicious. It's really good. Like Alina was saying, it's really, really important to always get the cleanest products. Like if you want to, like, you were mentioning you like rice, and as Asians we eat tofu. There is 200,000 manufacturer of tofu in United States today, and
Wow.
not every companies are produce the fermented tofu. And when the tofu is not fermented, it's pretty much crap. You don't want to eat that. And then I know, Steph, you have the allergies and like shellfish and stuff like that. And you do, if you get, like, you love Thai food, and there's a lot of tofu dish at Thai food, so you might want to ask the restaurant what type of tofu they use, if it is it fermented or not. So it is a very technical thing, but if you really care about your digestive tract, because everything starts with from your gut. What you eat, who you are today is what you ate 3 to 6 months before today. And if you do the prevention and eat clean diet, then you will end up saving a lot of money in the future, for the money to throw out to pharmaceutical companies. And also, this is, bear with me, but I got to say, the factory farming is just very, very poison. And if you're getting the meat from factory farms, really, really be careful, because those meat are highly toxic, and the environment alone, a lot of people, even people, humans, are dying around the factory farms because of the toxic gas that created by rotting animal waste.
Mm.
uh, it's the air they breathe, and the meat that we eat from factory farms is really, really bad. But there is a list called Shop with Your Heart list, and that makes it very simply, like, stupid easy for everybody to support the small family farming that are organic, non-GMO, humane farming. Now it's easier more than ever to start caring about what you eat and what you put into your body, from ground up. And before, it was very, very hard to find those, what to eat. What do we do if everything is bad? But there are places that make it available for everybody, to make it stupid easy. So I can send you the link too.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna be showered with links tonight. Woo!
Yay.
Like it. Obviously, trying to eat healthy and trying to be better for yourself, it does require a lot of homework. So when you have educators like you two who are like, here is your homework. Like we did the sourcing, the bibliography. Like just do it. Like it's very helpful and it's very inspiring. So thank you for always having, you know, recommendations and links and knowledge. So we we do know that, you know, the meat farms, I'm going to call them horrible things. They make the way that they raise the animals and do things, it's not ethical, because there's no ethical way to, you know, take do that. So what, for people that don't want to, you know, support that kind of thing and they want to try that new lifestyle, what are really good meat substitutes that you would recommend? And this, Alina, both of you, like Alina and Rayko, like I know that you have so much knowledge and wisdom in that sort of thing. So, you know, for people who want to stray away, what are a couple of meat substitutes that you would recommend?
I completely agree with what Reiko mentioned about fermented tofu. Tofu has complete protein, and what that means is that it has all of the amino acids that are necessary to create a complete protein. And so that is a great place to start, and to continue as like a, you know, foundation all the time. What's so great about tofu? I'm sure most of the people who are listening know this, and you know this, but it can take on any flavor. You know, you can make it savory, spicy, sweet, anything really. So that's a really good foundation. I would also look at different foods that when you combine them, which foods create a complete protein. So an example of that can be beans and rice. Beans
Rice
have
and beans. That's right.
Yes. So those can also definitely contribute, can come together and give you those complete amino acids. So I would look into specifically food combining for protein. That's something that you can kind of like look up. Um, let's see, in terms of protein. Yeah,
Millet
that's
and
good. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Reiko. Sorry.
millet and quinoa.
Oh, sorry?
Oh, millet and quinoa together.
Yes. Oh, yeah, definitely. Delicious. And there's fiber in there. That's another
Yes.
great one as well. But
And tempeh. I don't know if you guys like tempeh. The fermented soy tempeh is really, really good. Some of them, I tend to buy the plain kind because some of them are high in sodium. But you can, just like Alina was saying, you can. I usually use VNAs, which is the vegan mayonnaise from Follow Your Heart, and they make soy-free veganese. Now, the reason why I get soy-free veganese is like what we've been discussing for the last 40 minutes, that most of the soy is not fermented in the United States. So I tend to get like the grapeseed oil based vegan mayonnaise. So Follow Your Heart green cap soy free veganese is really, really good. It really tastes like mayonnaise. And I would just saute it with that and maybe like a little bit of coconut sugar. Like, you know, they have like a teriyaki coconut based a teriyaki sauce. There are so many different varieties of things that's clean stuff that's available now that you can marinate tofu, fermented tofu, and tempeh. And also hemp heart is really good alternative for as a vegan protein. Of course, egg white a day, I mean, per meal is even good enough protein for even guys. Just like we were saying before, a lot of bodybuilders, you know, they just pack themselves with like 40, 50, 60 grams of protein per servings. And it's so hard on your kidney. It's so hard to digest that stuff. So yeah, always ease into a lot, like just care about you, you know, care about your digestive, just nurture your inside, you know, like we live in Hollywood. We're so, yeah, you have to look a certain way and you have to have the certain weight and whatever. But, you know, if the inside is screwed up, it will comes out in the outside and it's just, you know, not good at all.
Absolutely. And I would add as well that I know that if anyone's listening to this, like, oh yeah, those are good, and you're writing a list down, a good way to transition kind of, if you're eating meat right now and you're like, I want to go full vegan, or I want to go pescatarian where I'm only eating fish, or only eating eggs, I would say to transition into that is what will really support long-term success. So for example, if you want to go full, like no meat, maybe you transition to only eating chicken as your protein, chicken and eggs as your protein, or chicken, eggs, and fish. So first you cut out red meat and see how you do with that. And maybe you really like the red meat, so then you cut out chicken and you only have chicken and eggs when you want that. And then eventually going into the evening or combining like the rice and beans or the quinoa and quinoa and beans, things like that, looking in those combos. But transitioning over is what's going to, I think, really help. And that means too, like, say you have your cheat meals and say you have, certain snacks that you enjoy that you're like, man, I kind of want to stop having that. It's okay to have them. Just have them in smaller portions or try to find replacements for them. So I love Reese's cups. I love them so much. And I remember when I went vegan, I was able to find a vegan version of them, and they're actually a lot more accessible now. And you can even find them, I think, at like gas stations. They're dark chocolate sort of, Reese's type alternatives. So basically, trying to find those swaps can be change. Maybe you want to continue eating protein or like animal protein, but you want to change the quality of it, and you want to get to what Rayko was mentioning before of getting the more ethically raised type or more they're raised in a more healthy way. I like to, and this is what my friends who are nutrition who are like clinical setting, what they do with their clients. We do something called good, better, best. Sometimes we can look at the optimal like organic, free range, pasture raised, grass fed, and those are absolutely great. And we know, okay, that's the best. But then we look at what we're eating and we're like, oh, I can't even get to that. That's too expensive. I don't know how to read that. It's good to look at it in a scale of good, better, and then best. So, yes,
Yes.
best is organic and free range and all these things. But let's look at what's good. What's good is that you're eating protein to begin with that's not from McDonald's. Say you decide, okay, I still want my burger, but I'm going to make it myself. Regardless of what kind of meat it is, the fact that you have transitioned over from having it pre-made and you get to control what spices are in it, you get to control whether or not there's a bunch of additives, that is something to celebrate. So, and then after that, maybe you go just organic. Organic meat is becoming way more accessible. You can even go to Walmart and find organic meat now. So, which is really cool. So, and then you go from there, and then you can look into organic, pasture raised, grass fed, these things that are indicators that the animals being better taken care of. They aren't being, fed, GMO foods and stuff like that, right? Get there, and that's okay. The reality is too is that I'm sorry, I want to let you speak, Rayko. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. Go ahead. I'm just agreeing with you like completely because
Oh.
go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, but I something that I really like I feel passionate about diving deeper into this year. And this kind of what I was talking about. I was talking about it a little bit in my like TED talk was increasing accessibility to living the wellness lifestyle, right? Like we see people living these optimal, organic, like these perfect lifestyles. And that's really good that they're doing it. It's good that they're kind of spreading the word about how to, sharing these recipes. That is all good, but I really want to try and bridge that gap. And I think an important aspect of that is recognizing and acknowledging that we're not going to magically have $100 extra to buy these super expensive things. So how do we transition to that? And so, yeah, I just want to say that because I know even now, like I talk about a lot of really important health foods and all of these things, but there's certain things that I wouldn't even want to like. I don't even shop at Whole Foods most of the time because of the price points that they have. So I shop at Sprouts, and Sprouts has the exact same things, but they're a different price. And so, yeah, looking at the accessibility aspect of it, like, yes, go vegan if you want to. Yes, go organic, but understand, yeah, you can transition if you want to
I
that.
am totally, yeah, I mean, a complete agreement with you. I did all that, what you just said, transitioning. Like right now, I'm pescatarian. Like I said, just eat step four chicken, rarely on rare occasion, and everything wild caught, like wild caught fish.
Yeah.
Um, and also good, better, best. There are companies like White Oak Pastures. They're in Georgia. They are the best. They figure everything out to the science on how agricultural, the scientifically everything works with the our ecology and ecosystem and everything, and the how to be ethical for the animals and humane, and so the clean meat, and so it'll be healthier for the digestive tract and all that stuff. White Oak Pastures. If you want to watch the 100,000 Beating Hearts on YouTube, produced by that farm director, it's the best thing that you really want to watch it to learn so much. Not you, Alina, you're so knowledgeable. I'm talking about the
I'd
viewers.
love to watch it. I really
Yeah,
would, you know.
you would love it. And then also, sorry, it's somebody talking. Shh, hey, quiet on set. Sorry, it's my drummer and my. Anyway, so and also they made me lost the train of thought. We were talking about yes,
Documentary.
yes, yes, by Oak Pastures and Bel Campo is in California. They are one of the best organic. Always talking to the farm directors of various farms to see who has the best quality eggs, who has the best quality beef, who has the best quality pork. It all comes from the humane treatment of those farm animals. I don't eat them, but just like you're saying, Alina, some people don't want to just dive into veganism or vegetarianism. They still want to eat meat. Then I don't want to shut them down completely and say, hey, you guys horrible people. No, because that won't do anybody good. So yes, anytime I'm constantly in touch with farm directors. So ask me anything, DM me whatever. And at the dairy farm that sells the baby calves to factory farms because they go through horrendous torture. And so uh, it really is what she said: better, good, better, best, and transitioning from eating a little bit of animal-based protein to vegetarian protein, vegan protein, and combined protein, just like beans and rice she was mentioning. Those things will work miracles if you want to change your lifestyle.
And I almost forgot, very last thing, protein powder, right? We're
Yes,
in a very awesome era right now where there's even vegan protein powders that specifically find all the right amino acids. And
yes,
like you mentioned before, you can also supplement with certain amino acids,
yeah,
So there's a lot nowadays that can make it a lot easier to transition over.
yes, absolutely.
Wow, I love how, you know, things like being a vegan would have been so much more challenging 10, 15 years ago, and how easily accessible it is now. It's just such an amazing evolution. And unfortunately, we're running out of time, and I really wanted to talk a little bit more, but I'm just like, no, you guys got things to do, and it's totally understandable. So thank you so much for being here on Nom Talk Live with me, and
Yeah.
for just opening up your brain of knowledge. Your brains of knowledge. Like I'm definitely gonna have to watch through this video maybe a couple more times just to like really be able to get my lecture notes on. Is there anything else that you guys would like to mention
Can I
before we
selfishly mention something?
Yeah.
It's actually a prayer request for I'm not going to go into details because God already knows. Angelica Cassidy and Stephen Ramsey, and of course my mother. If you guys can just keep them in your prayers, I greatly appreciate it. And also I have a podcast called Gratitude Video. I do kickstarting the day energetic podcast, and then the relaxing to make you fall asleep at night podcast. It's at gratitudevideo.com. If you have sleepless night, magnesium powder, right, Alina?
Yay, yes.
Magnesium is so important. So yes, so those two things. Thank you so much, and thank you.
Absolutely. Oh, that sounds so nice. We got to connect. That podcast sounds awesome. Yeah, I mean, I guess like if anybody wants to connect with me, I'm Hey Alina Alive on Instagram and Alina Alive on YouTube. And my YouTube primarily is actually a lot of astrology right now and meditations. But I really want to transition to talking more about nutrition. So, and I actually have a whole stock of videos on there, all about nutrition topics. So if you do want to dive deeper in meditation or nutrition, I guess, Alina Alive on YouTube is where you can find me. But yeah, those are the only things, I guess.
Do you say that you watch Eric Andre show?
Oh, sorry?
You watch Eric Andre?
Yes. Oh my
my
God. We didn't even talk about that. That is so cool that you're. Oh my gosh.
I know. I feel like there needs to be another round in the future.
Lolita Dark Music is my Instagram. We
Oh,
should
say that.
connect.
What is it called again?
Lolita Dark Music.
Okay, I'm gonna find you right now. That's so
I'm gonna
cool.
find you. I'm gonna follow you.
And I don't know if everybody's already got their planners, but I'm going to do a
Ah!
shameless plug.
Wait, where's mine? Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Oh my
I don't even know where
god!
mine is.
So
I love that. It's so
Rayko and everybody watching, this is the planner that Alina designed for 2021.
I forgot.
Where can I get it?
It's at raalignshop.com, but on my links are on Instagram too.
Okay.
And maybe if you want to put those links, Stephanie, it's up to you. But yeah, it's Ara Align. I combined two names together. It was like a trademarking thing. But yeah, so basically it's a planner just like any normal planner, but it's an astrology planner. So it has dedicated full moon and new moon pages for you to kind of sit and reflect every month about like, oh, what do I want to let go of? What do I want to focus on, kind of like almost like a quarterly review, but you're in alignment with nature. And then you get notifications for, oh, Mercury's in retrograde, or, it's a full moon tonight, stuff like that. So for anybody who's into that, that's what this is.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like
me.
Today there was a full moon in Cancer, is that correct? Or is it
Oh yeah, in Leo. Yeah.
Leo? Yes.
I'm Leo.
But
You're
like
Leo. Oh man.
let's just say
okay.
at the end of
That's so cool.
January, there's like a winter seasonal guide with like seasonal habits and foods to stay aligned with a list of winter foods. So I mean, just
Seasonal
saying,
food. Cool.
if you're in life to better it, I would highly recommend. But I've been shamelessly plugging it everywhere. I'm like, you guys know, seriously though.
Stephanie, that is so
Beautiful
sweet and
too.
kind
I
of you.
love
I
the
appreciate
cover.
that.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
so pretty.
I get in my own head. I'm like, you know what? It's the end of January. Nobody cares about planners. And then I need to get out of my own head. I'm like my own worst critic. So thank you for bringing it up. But yeah.
Raising the roof. And yes, definitely watch Eric Andre's show, and you'll definitely see Rayko. It's such a crazy show. It is so fun. But thank you guys again so much for being here and taking time out of your day to plan and talk about these things. And thank you to everybody that's still tuning in right now, and to everybody who already tuned in and people who are going to tune in later. You guys rock. And thank you. So have a good night. Stay warm. Stay well. Stay healthy. And yeah, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye, everybody. Yay.
Bye.